I have some people in my community that have a pig in their paddock. They've got a little farm, and there's this pig. It's black, and they feed it, and you call out to it, and it comes running like it's really funny to watch. It goes bloop, 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 across the grass, which it's allowed to eat, and you throw it um, veggie scraps and leftover meals and bits of old pizza, and this pig is happy. It's like, and it wants more and more. They never throw pearls to the pig. They threw pearls to the pig. The pig would say, "What on earth are these small white things?" They'd probably just trample them into the dirt and then look up and say, "What the heck are you doing? Give me old food scraps. Give me rotten pizza. Give me last year's meal, and I'll be as happy as a pig in a pie." In a sty, I should say. You know, some people I have found just don't have the capacity to hold precious things. They don't have the wisdom to hold something well. And I think one of the most hurtful and disappointing things that can happen to anyone is when you open up and you're vulnerable and you share something deep of the soul, and this gift is mistreated. You share kind of like an intimacy moment, but the other just doesn't know what to do with it. They don't have any understanding of how to grasp the tenderness of what you've shared. And there is a sacredness within the situation. It's like a stepping on holy ground. You are presenting them a pearl as such, a pearl of great price, but they just can't grasp the beauty, and they don't have the wisdom to see, or the eyes to see, or the wisdom to care. Instead, they see something to be eaten, to be consumed, to be consumed like everything that they are presented to them. If it's not of any nutritional value to them, then we'll just trample it into the ground. And after they've done this trampling, their self-centered demand for food remains, and so they attack you for not giving them what they demand. Pig slop, old rubbish, and you feel mauled and violated for giving something incredibly precious, but it just being treated as rubbish. And Jesus once said this. He said, "Do not give what is holy to dogs. Do not throw your pearls before swine, or they will trample them underfoot and then turn and maul you." And pearls, real natural pearls, in Jesus' day were very rare. Few of those listeners that would have heard him would have seen one, let alone touch one. But they probably would have heard about these little white balls that you find in oysters. And they would have heard about them. Now, as we know now, and I've talked about in previous podcasts and videos, is that the pearl is formed by an oyster protecting itself from a little parasitic worm that's trying to kill it. The little worm burrows through the shell, and the pearl has a mantle which covers over it, and then the oyster starts layering calcium carbonate over that little parasite and kills it. And it's like there's a battle ensues between the mussel or the oyster and this tiny little parasite, and layers and layers and layers of calcium carbonate are layered over until it forms this pearl. What you see when you see a pearl is a piece of battle art. It's a battle of creation has taken place. And to me, isn't the struggle worthy of appreciation? And Jesus is saying, look, to not give your deepest value to those who won't treat it with the same value you do. and I've done this at times. I remember sharing a pearl with someone, and then just a little while later found out that they'd gossiped it to others. And immediately, the oyster shell of my heart just closed to them and others. And if ever I was to see them, it would still remain incredibly closed. I've forgiven them, but there still remains the I don't trust them with my pearl, and I don't trust people like them because they showed no respect for the depth of what I was sharing. I learned a valuable lesson. Not everyone is able to handle the deep stuff of life. Some people just aren't equipped to carry the fire that you have been called to carry. Forgive them anyway. That's a big one. Forgive them anyway. And look, throughout times of my life, at times I've just been ministered deeply by the words of Rob Bell. And it's like an incident happens and Rob Bell puts out a podcast or reads something and it's like bingo, bang. Wow, that was just right for me at that time. It's like he creates a piece of content that is just right for me. And one of those podcasts was a podcast called Let Them Have Their Trip. And it's about this passage of Jesus about pigs and pearls and not giving over your pearls to pigs. You see, pigs are pigs. They will never appreciate pearls. They're on a piggy trip. Dogs are dogs. They'll never appreciate pearls. They are on a doggy trip. Some people will never, ever get you or what you are on about. Let them have their trip. And if you wanted to listen to the podcast, which I would really encourage you to do so, there's a link on the website here. Look, you see, I came across this line. I've made this line up myself. If you want to understand coal, talk to a coal miner. Hey, don't talk to some scientist who can tell you all the chemical composition of coals and things like that. That's interesting. But talk to someone who's dug out coal from a mine and has got covered in it and knows what it's really like. They're the ones that have, they've got the pearl. Look, and every one of us has something really deeply beautiful and important within us. And we need what I would say pearl merchants. We talked about pearl merchants last week to seek it out. Someone who knows the difference between the real thing, a real pearl, and a plastic make-believe bead. And look, if you keep throwing pearls to pigs, then be ready for them to trample over you and then attack you. And by the way, I just want to switch this around. Are you continually being mauled by others for things you may share? Do you feel how others treat you, that others treat you with disdain and contempt? Perhaps you're throwing pearls to pigs. Okay, let's just be honest. Some people just won't get it. They're not in the right space yet. Why do you keep on doing that? That's the question. And the saddest thing I find when I'm talking to people is that people become closed. Okay, they're throwing their pearls out and they're being crushed, and now they just close themselves up like an oyster shell does. They close themselves up to the thought of being known, explored, discovered, and touched. They really want it, but because they've been hurt so many times, they simply close up like an oyster shell, and the pearl remains in there, unappreciated. How to be safe? How to be safe with other people's pearls? Okay, someone comes to you and they want to share something, and you recognise, this is a pearl. I need to be safe with it. So here's 4 things, 2 do's and 2 don'ts. So the first don't is don't be in a rush. Don't be in a rush. Take time, generous time, to sit with the oyster shell as such, and let it open up in its own good time. It may take weeks, it may take months, it might even take years before the person feels safe enough to actually say, I want to tell you about this. Number 2 is don't fazz them, okay, which is F-A-S-S them. And what I mean by fazz is don't come to them with an attitude of wanting to fix them, advise them, save them, or set them straight. Look, they may want you to do that. They may want you to fix them. They may want you to give them a good advice to save them or set them straight, but resist the pull to do that. Something actually is deeper is needed here. This is a place of holy ground where a kind of a dance is being played out, and you need to allow that dance to sing, and for them to actually discover the value of that pearl within them, and for them to actually continue to allow it to grow. Number 2 is do ask gently curious questions, not harsh statements, not demanding words, but gentle questions that kind of invite them to feel safe and be open and expose the into-me-see-ness. And number 4, do be open to conversion. Do be open to conversion. And I like this quote. It's one of my favourites. I've got lots. True conversation always puts the conversants at risk because you cannot truly converse without the risk of conversion. All right? It means like putting your own opinions and everything aside to really listen to what the other person is saying. I don't understand. I want to know more. Please tell me more. I want to understand more. Be open to conversion, to their point of view, to their what they've experienced. Be open to it. You see, I want to learn from the oyster and the pearl. And to do this, I have to be willing to be converted. I have to stop being a pig and instead become like a pearl merchant, willing to sell everything they have to purchase the pearl. Safe conversations work both ways. So I've got a little poem here. It's called I Have This Beautiful Pearl. I have this beautiful pearl. It cost me everything. It fills a vacuum in my heart, wisdom glowing in the dark. I have this beautiful pearl. People call me a fool, but they have not seen what I've seen when wisdom stepped in the room. Pigs don't understand the beauty of my pearl. They have not been where I've been, this beauty to unfurl. I have this beautiful pearl. Some say sell it to feed the poor, but they know not the wisdom that can flow out from the struggle with God's law. I have a beautiful pearl. I want to share its glow. Would you give up some time for you to know? Wisdom is this pearl. Seek for it if you dare. You won't find it in a pigsty or in the Satan's lair. Seeking you will find a beautiful pearl just right for you. An open hand is what you'll need for wisdom to meet with you. I have a beautiful pearl. I will hide it in my heart. I will share it with the very few. Pearl merchants just like you. If you come over to the website, there's a link and read the post. I've got a whole lot of quotes to consider, some questions to think about, an exercise to do that helps to build upon this throwing pearls to pigs. And if you find it really helpful, just email me. It's barry@turningthepage.co.nz. I really like to hear from my listeners and my viewers and readers. And subscribe to this channel and subscribe to the email newsletter, which comes out every week, which has got content like this. But until then, consider where you've been throwing your pearls. Have they been received with wellness? And we'll talk again next week. Okay, bye.